Bingo. My favorite show on USA was always after Raw. Raw is War when Silk Stockings came on.
And when it was on Spike, when they did Mansers.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like 9 years old, and I'd stay up and watch that after my parents went to bed.
It always you'd set your VCR to record Raw is War or Nitro, and it would always spill over and record the first like 5 minutes of Silk Stockings when it came on. That show's tame compared to some stuff on TV now, I guess. But
for sure.
What do you say there, ZB?
What do you say, our Grateful Dead? What are you doing?
Hey, just chilling, man.
Killing it.
Big Montana is back from vacation, and we just got to get Day Dave all back. And I saw, just so everybody knows, saw Gavin the other day.
Ooh.
I did see him, and he said, after I leave your house, I'm going back into hiding. He was here finishing up some work on the house, and then he left. As quickly as I saw him, he was gone. Maybe we'll get him back one day. I'm working on him.
Winter is coming.
Winter. That is true. Winter is definitely coming.
We're rewatching Game of Thrones right now.
Are you? What season are you on?
End of 4 or beginning of 5, somewhere in there.
Has spoiler alert, has Jon Snow come back to life yet?
That was at the end of season 5.
Yes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I think he dies at the end of season 5, right? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Game of Thrones.
I said spoiler alert. I mean, guys, like it's been out for like 10 years now. Like, we don't have to say spoiler alert.
It is kind of crazy how long. I mean, the season or the series finale was what, back before COVID?
Yeah, it was 2019.
So that's been 4 years ago, and it started like probably.
You gotta think, like, each of those episodes they make is like making a movie.
Yeah.
You know, like that's with all the CGI and all that stuff. Because I don't know if you know, but those dragons aren't real.
They're not?
No, it's pretty.
I thought they kept them at a zoo somewhere or something.
Me too. Somewhere with Hunter Biden's laptop and
they've got 2 down at Zoo Knoxville.
Epstein's client list.
Yep, Epstein's client list. The original recipe for Bud Light that didn't make you silly.
It says here, Game of Thrones premiered on HBO on April 17th, 2011. And it concluded on May 19th, 2019.
Yeah.
Because HBO, when they make series, they don't get in a hurry between seasons. It takes them about a year.
They want to keep you paying that $13.99 a month, baby.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is now.
Well, I'm fortunate. I've got AT&T internet, so I don't pay anything for HBO, but yeah, I'm sure I'm paying for it through my internet. But
yeah.
Quickly, before we get into Tennessee, favorite Game of Thrones character?
I always loved Tyrion. I love Tyrion.
I mean, everybody loved Tyrion and loved the Hound.
Yeah.
Everybody loved them.
I can't think of the characters right now because it's been forever. I guess Jon Snow was mine. I know that's like cliche and kind of strange. Not strange, but the normal answer. But
he's like your like common man. Hard work, worked his way up. And
who was the dude that rode with Cersei, like the old guy with the slick back hair?
Oh, like her, was it her hand?
I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to like tweet a picture of who I'm thinking about. He was like a badass swordsman.
Are you talking about the guy that fought for Tyrion?
Yes. Yeah,
he was badass too.
Yeah, I think that's who I'm talking about. It's been like a long time since I've watched.
I've been like I said, I've been rewatching. Hot take here, but Marjorie Tyrell, hottest woman in the show.
Yeah,
I saw where you
Mine-
were watching.
You're right. She was very attractive. Mine, I don't know. I always have a hard time, and I'm trying to look up her name. First one is Lord Peter Baelish. I always liked Littlefinger.
No,
Come on,
I
he knew how to
couldn't.
play. He knew how to play the game.
I saw you were watching Righteous Gemstones, Ace.
So I was telling Harbin before you got on. I had watched it, but it had been a while. I mean, it hadn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
So I went
Right.
back and watched season 2, and then caught up. I hadn't watched season 3 at all, and then caught up with season 3. But I hadn't watched season 2. And it was great.
Sturgill Simpson at the revival or whatever when he starts singing
All the gold.
all the gold in California. It's like my favorite thing right now. And like I didn't realize it was Sturgill until like the next day.
I
saw
had to look it up.
Yeah.
My other one, by the way, from Game of Thrones is Elena Tyrell, the grandmother. I want you to tell Cersei it was me.
There you go. You talking about the hottest girl or your favorite character?
Huh?
The hottest character or your favorite character?
No, I was just saying, like, I just liked her character.
Oh.
She's like 90 years old.
Man, I don't know what
She
floats
might
your
still
boat.
be hot.
I don't know what floats your boat.
That's true. It is 2023.
Yeah, man.
I think my favorite song in Game of Thrones in Gemstones this year was Uncle Baby Billy singing "There'll Be a Payday." It's great. Oh, it was so good. And then spoiler alert, that game show is awesome, by the way.
Baby Billy's Bible bonkers.
Baby Billy's Bible bonkers. Walter Goggins is great. Boyd Crowder, Uncle Baby Billy. Just a wide variety of characters right there. Just awesome.
I thought I wasn't going to like the show because I don't like sacrilegious things, but like this show is like making fun of the Joel Osteens of the world and all these people that profit off of like.
But a lot of times they're the most religious of the others that they're fighting with on there. You know, they pray before dinner, pray for healing and all that stuff. But yeah, they are. They're trying to make a buck. So Big Montana's back. He wasn't here last week, but he's back. What'd you do on summer break?
Man, I've been in a war with some Yellow Jackets. I haven't really been very vocal with it. For 3 weeks in a row, I got stung. The last week, I got stung 17 times in the face and the back of the head and the neck and the ears. But I won the war. Yesterday, they were all dead and they didn't get stung. Went to the beach. Oh man, went to the beach. Been working a little bit, trying to get some new business. I bought a kayak. I haven't tried it out yet. Hopefully, it holds my fat ass up. Been looking at some tailgate stuff. Been trying to sell some blood and support them boys. We're kind of getting an idea of what we're going to do and where we're going to do it and how much it's going to cost. What else, Mace? What else have I done? It's been fun.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's about it, man. It's been working. Just trying to get them gains, trying to get that bag.
Heard that. Yeah, we're so it looks like we're going to kind of oversee or overtake most of the tailgating responsibilities this year. We probably won't do it like Moses did. There won't be a DJ system with huge speakers set up, but our boys next to us, they always provide. There's so much music. Sometimes you can't hear both. There's so much music going from both tailgates. So we'll let those guys play music and we'll have a little music too. But yeah, we're working on some stuff, got some things in the works, and we'll hopefully have more news for everybody over the next few weeks on that. So that'll be good. But Harbin, let's start with you on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your excitement level about the upcoming season?
Damn near close to 10. I don't know if I can put it at 10, just to be fair. I'll put it at a 9.4. Big year coming. I'm feeling. And this is a big year regardless. We finally had a good year. can't go backwards. Now that being said, like if we go 9-3, is it a loss of the season? No, but I think we've finally gotten to that point where like our absolute floor is about 8-4. That's what it feels like. So I don't know. 9, 10, 11 wins is kind of the benchmark now, and I think if we play to what we can, a season just like last year is very much in the cards, if not better. So yeah, excitement level is very high. I'm excited to see what these boys can do this year.
Big Montana, what do you think? What's your excitement level? 1 to 10.
Man, right now I'm at a solid 10. I'm so excited. I'm ready for a break in the weather. I can't wait to walk out of my house at 7:30 a.m. to put ice in a cooler. And I walk out there and I'm like, you know what? I better go back in and grab my jacket. Like I am so ready for that football weather. Just go out there and, I'm ready to pee outside. I'm ready to do all the fun things that involves tailgating. I'm ready for, that first chocolate milk of the day in C8. I'm ready for cowboy boots and jeans to be able to wear that outside and like be comfortable in it. I'm ready to go buy a new polo for the football season. I'm ready for that first dip in Nayland. I'm ready for that first Petros tea in Nayland. I'm fired up. I've got a lot of things to look forward to. I'm excited. My son is starting to show interest in UT football without like me forcing it upon him. So that's been fun, I'm pumped up. I don't think I'm going to Nashville for the first game just because of the time slot we're in and how hot it's going to be. And I've been to that stadium like I don't know 5 times to watch Tennessee play. It seems like, and so hopefully the higher ups get the message that Tennessee fans are tired of playing in Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of on the fence about going. I'm kind of leaning toward not at this point, but I'm kind of burned out on these, and I think I've seen a lot of comments like that. These neutral site games.
Yeah,
we got one in Charlotte. Is it next year against North Carolina State?
So. And like, it's nothing against Nashville. I'd feel the same way if it was in Atlanta or Charlotte.
No, you're right. It's not. It's
I'm just ready. If we're going to play like an opponent at the beginning of the season that's non-conference, let's do a home and home with Virginia Tech. Let's do a home and home with North Carolina. Let's do a home and home with Clemson. Like, I'm tired of going supporting Belk and Chick-fil-A and whatever else.
Yeah, and I was looking at the tickets too. I mean, they're like, and I don't want to sit way up high. And I was looking at, I think, like the club level seats, and they're near like $300, depending on where you sit. And it's just, and let's be honest, Tennessee should go out there, take care of business, and handle Virginia. They're not very good. And I think I haven't seen the latest lines, but I've seen them like 27, 28 point favorites for Tennessee. So is it really worth driving all the way out there, spending $250 on a ticket, and then going to get a hotel? I mean, it's just a lot of money and a lot of sacrifice and time to, it'd be different if we were playing, I don't know, Texas in Nashville or something.
It'd be a lot different if there would be a game day experience and the game was at 7:30, not 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would definitely go if, because like, to be honest with you, it's not even a trip. Like if you're playing at 11 o'clock, yeah, like you can get a hotel after, but like it's at that time where like you could get up at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and get there and then go to the game, then come home. Like it's almost too perfect to like waste $300 on a hotel room. And like, I've seen Nashville. I've been to Nashville. Like I like Nashville, but like Nashville's almost too crowded now to enjoy. Like, especially on a Friday or Saturday night. Like if you hit it right on a Tuesday or whatever, or a Monday night, like me and Harb did, or Thursday night like me and Harm did, it's fine. But like, I don't want to wait 45 minutes to move past 19 people to get a Miller Lite. Like, it's not my good time.
It yeah, I'm interested to see what the fan turnout is for both of those teams. I've looked online and looked at some stuff, but there's a lot of tickets for sale still, and I hope there's a good crowd, but part of me, like you said, kind of hopes it's not, so they can like get a hint, like, hey, maybe people are tired of these neutral site games and want a home and home or something coming up.
I honestly think it'll be probably 70% full, and I think it'll be 90% UT fans. Because I just don't think Virginia's going to have a big following to come down here, unless they just want to go to Nashville and ride a pedal car
Sure.
and bachelorette party. I don't know.
What do you think, Harbin, about these neutral site games?
I hate them personally, especially going to the same 2 or 3 places every time we do it.
Yeah.
Like if we perhaps did like, I don't know, this is random, but like,
Bowl?
but right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like
if we did like Lucas Oil Stadium against Wisconsin, or hell, it could be like a Minnesota for all I care.
Yeah.
Like just somewhere to like spice it up a little bit.
Right.
I could maybe get down with that, but like going to Nissan Stadium for what feels like the 6th time, or going to Charlotte, like hell, Charlotte's worse than Nashville in my honest opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, like I want home and homes. Like I would love like that potential trip that we had to Provo. I would have loved to have done that. Like going out to Utah, spend a few days out there. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's time to start doing home and homes. Like you said, like we got NC State and Charlotte. Let's just do home and home. Like I would like NC State. I feel like would be a pretty cool trip.
Yeah,
So it's the pageantry of college football. Like, yes, like we love our teams being good, but like, man, I enjoyed walking into LSU and like seeing what that was about, seeing their culture, seeing Mike the Tiger, seeing how big the stadium was, singing Colin Baton Rouge when them son of a guns was walking out in the 3rd quarter. Like I was fired up.
I just think some of the non-conference games I've been to the last 10, 15 years, at Oklahoma, at Oregon were 2. Like you just don't. I mean, there are games like that. Like I think Texas and Bama are playing this year, and it's not neutral site; it's in Tuscaloosa. But Bama there for the longest time would start every season either in Atlanta or Orlando or Dallas. It was that rotation: Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas. And it seems like we're in a rotation of Nashville and Charlotte for neutral sites. We've been to Atlanta in 2012 for the NC State game, but next year I think we're in Charlotte at Bank of America for the NC State game. I don't know if there's any scheduled after that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm burned out. I'll probably end up going to Charlotte next year to that game just because my family's over there, and I assume that most of them will go. But I mean, there were several people I thought going to Nashville this year, and everybody backed out because of life or other things that have come up along the way. But and there's just no, like, when you talk to people, I don't hear people talking about going to Nashville. I've had a couple people ask me over the last couple of weeks, you going to Nashville? But normally before a season opens, if we were playing a neutral site game against a Power 5 team, there'd be a lot of interesting. I mean, there was a ton of people went to Nashville a few years ago when we played Bowling Green. I mean, there was tons of people we knew out there. And I just don't hear that right now coming from the fan base that I know about this game coming up against Virginia. Maybe it's because Virginia's not good, but Bowling Green was okay, but they were probably better than Virginia is now.
That was the year that Bowling Green had that stud quarterback that would that was the year that was like the gambling pick too. They covered like 10 of their games like easily.
It was a high scoring. I remember they scored quite a bit of points on us.
I made a ton of money on Bowling Green that year. Just take Bowling Green. Bowling Green, Oregon, and TCU. No matter if the line was 60, you're taking Oregon or TCU because like they were lights out.
Well, maybe they'll Maybe they'll get us to a good bowl game this year that we can all go to instead of, somewhere warm like Orlando or New Orleans or
Yeah.
not Nashville or Charlotte or I don't know, Atlanta for the Peach Bowl might be all right. That's a New
Yeah.
Year's Six bowl. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Now, I don't want to get into predictions right now, but that's something that we're kind of like Harbin and I talked about last week. I think this program's at a place right now where 8-4, like an 8-4 season this year would probably, I think in most people's eyes, no, it wouldn't be what we want, but I don't think we would be all that upset about it because it's kind of the floor right now. I think anything less than 8-4 this year, there's probably going to be some question marks coming up like, hey, what's going on here? Why did we fall off from 11-2 to 7-6 or 6-7, whatever the record may be, 7-5, 6-6? There's either been a lot of injuries happen or there's not been good quarterback play or offensive line play, something like that. But I think right now you're looking at an 8-4 type, anywhere between 8-4, 10-2 type season, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm gonna set. So I'll play Vegas. I don't know what the actual line is, but for any listeners or for you boys, I'll play Vegas. I'll set our win total at 9.5. 10% or 10% juice each side. Whichever side you want.
Who do you think is automatic wins and losses this year? Because there's going to be some toss-up games in there. I'm assuming. I don't know. I haven't sat down and like looked through the schedule because I was kind of waiting until we did a preview show. But do we have automatic losses this year? I guess is my first question.
I honestly don't think we have automatic losses. I think Georgia is going to be hot, but they're starting a new quarterback too. Alabama is going to have a new quarterback. And Texas, everybody's on this Texas A&M train. Boys, I ain't seen it. Like I'm just not a homer. I'm not feeling.
They have a lot to prove.
I mean, like they haven't done crap, and so I think those are the three like highlight games of our season. I think we need to at least go 1-2, if not 2-1, or if not 3-0. But like, need a win. And here I am, taking Florida out of the equation. I just don't think Florida's going to be that good this year. I think they're going to be in a rebuilding year, and this might come back and bite me in the ass, but I don't think UT should have any trouble winning the Swamp this year. I know that's something that we haven't done, and I feel like Kentucky Sports Radio right now talking because there's no proof in the pudding yet. But
well, I know our buddy Vols picks or SC, whatever you call him. He's like chalked Florida up as an automatic loss for us, pretty much, because we hadn't won in the Swamp in 20 years, which we haven't. That's the only thing in the back of my mind is a little. And these guys weren't around back then, obviously, but I was. Right. I've been through the horrors down there and seen it. These guys haven't, so that might be a good thing. But again, Tennessee hasn't won in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium since 2003. And I think we are better than them and we should beat them, but I don't know that it's a given that we go down there and beat them, but I think it should be. But is it?
I think honestly, the Florida game is the most important game of the season because I think it's the building block for the rest of the year. I think if you beat Florida, you're still in the hunt for the East, which this is the last year for that. And you just start rolling downhill instead of climbing back up. But winning is a habit. It's a culture thing. It's a habit, and losing is too. And a lot of these guys coming back, they're used to winning. They're used to beating Alabama. They want that feeling again. I'm excited for those three key games, and in Florida, let's call it 4 games. But I mean, listen, Kentucky is going to be right there. I think South Carolina will too. I honestly think that we handle both those guys this year pretty easily. But Shane Beamer, I mean, I know like they got us like he's done a good job with this program. I mean, for that guy to beat Tennessee and come back right around and beat Clemson the next week, that's a pretty easy sell on your program in the off season. Like, hey, this is where we're at right now. You know, obviously Columbia is an awful place to live in and go to school in, but you know, I mean, it's a cool school. They got some pageantry, they got some traditions. So I don't know what they've added. Obviously, their quarterback is pretty decent, if not pretty good. So there's somebody to watch out for. I told you this morning, I'm kind of nervous about that UTSA, whatever their initials are.
San Antonio.
Yes, like, you know, they were a hot little team last year. And I just hope, I think Heupel is going to have that South Carolina game on repeat and replay all season long just to show these guys, hey, don't overlook any of your opponents because you can get your ass kicked. And that's what happened. UT was a lot better team than South Carolina was last year. And we went into that game thinking we were going to blow them out. The line was what, 20-something points, and we ended up getting drilled. So there you go.
I just quickly on my end, I don't really like automatic losses because 3 years ago I would have said, oh yeah, Bama. I think I even said last year, Bama and Georgia were pretty much L's in my opinion. That turned out to be wrong, at least on half of that scenario. But I mean, still beating Georgia, even though it's here, is going to be tough. And it's hard to judge we don't know what Georgia's going to be like starting a new quarterback, but they're going to run the football and play really good defense. Same at Alabama, starting a new quarterback. They're going to run the football well, play really good. Well, they didn't play good defense last year, but I can't imagine Nick Saban team not playing good defense back-to-back years. But I mean, Alabama's on the road, tough place to play, Bryant-Denny. I mean, we've got Georgia here, so that might help. But other than that, I mean, automatic wins to me are obviously your Austin Peay's, your UConn. Trying to think who else. Well, I mean, I don't think San Antonio is an automatic win. I think that's a game Tennessee's probably going to be favored by 7 to 10 points, and they're going to put up some points against us probably. But they won't be a cakewalk like a normal. I think when we scheduled them a few years ago, they were probably like, "Come in here, we'll pay you." That's not the case anymore. They're a pretty good decent football program at the mid-major level. But Harbin, do you have any automatic losses? What do you think?
No, I do not.
Good.
I think we split with Bama and Georgia this year. I don't know which one we beat. I'm not going to get on here and say that we run the table. I'm just not going to do that.
But I will in 3 weeks.
Fair enough. Yeah. I might once we get later into August or early September. But for right now, no. I do think we split with Bama and Georgia though, very seriously. I don't know which one we win. If it's based on last year, we obviously play a lot better at home than we do on the road. But I don't know. As far as toss-up games, you put those 2 games in there as toss-ups. I mean, based on last year, you should chalk up A&M as a win, but they've got enough talent to turn it around. It's just a matter if they will or not. And then I think I'm putting down Florida as a win because they're going to be bad, but it's kind of like y'all said, got to see it before we say it. There's gonna be a couple games that are gonna sneak up on us though. And one that I've been seeing that a lot of people have told me that I'm crazy about, but that's going to Missouri. You saw how Georgia struggled mightily at Missouri last year. I don't think they're great. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. But I don't know. I feel like when they have a home game, it's probably going to be a night game when we go there, depending on what our record is. They're going to be fired up. We're going to think we're going to walk in there, and I just think it might be tighter than what we think it is. And I hope I'm wrong. But
the home game last year was tight there until the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, It was about in the third quarter. I think we started really pulling away. I mean, we were up by a touchdown or two most of the time.
But I mean, we'll probably beat the hell out of Kentucky, but you don't know how their new quarterback's going to be.
Right.
That's the one that I'm hearing a lot about. The two I hear a lot about, obviously, is Kentucky. It seems like every year gets a lot of preseason hype. I don't know why, because they don't really recruit that high at that high of a level. I guess it's just because they win 7 or 8, 9 games every year, and it's kind of like they're waiting for the dam to break or whatever. But it's that one in South Carolina, besides the San Antonio game. I mean, I think Tennessee is more talented than South Carolina. They should beat South Carolina, especially being in Neyland. But Spencer Rattler's their quarterback, and he showed last year he can play football at a high level. We saw it at Oklahoma, and we've seen it toward the tail end of last year. So that's not something to just scoff at. So I don't think that's like an automatic win. I think Tennessee would be favored by a touchdown in that game, probably, just depending on where we're at that point. But that's one that those two games, like I think it's like Florida versus Tennessee. I mean, you got to beat, if you're Tennessee or you're a Florida fan, you're like, oh, Tennessee's got to beat us, or they'll never beat us. Is my line of thinking, and it's like how I think with Kentucky, like they never should beat us.
Here's the way I look at the South Carolina game. Do we really think Josh Heupel is going to let that dork beat us 2 years in a row? Especially after what they did to us and how much Beamer's thrown in some chicken shit comments about it.
I honestly think we blow out South Carolina just because of that.
That is my, like, if you had me pick out one game on the schedule that's a bloodbath that we cover, like let's say we're 9.5 point favorites in that game and we cover by 20 or more, that's the one. Like I'm going on record. I think we beat them by like 28 or more. And I think if there's any chance for us to run it up on him, Josh Heupel's going to take that opportunity. Like he's gonna send a message.
Oh, definitely, I agree. If he's got a chance to run it up, he will do it this year against them.
Yeah. I don't know. I like as far as guaranteed wins, I'd say without looking at the schedule right in front of me, I'd say we've got seven guarantees. And then like 5 toss-ups, but that 5, there's a wide variety between the toss-ups. Like there's probably a couple toss-ups that we should win. There's probably a couple toss-ups that we should lose. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm setting the total at 9.5 for the regular season. Not to get into the prediction thing, but personally, I'm taking the over on that. But yeah,
we'll have to answer that. I think next week I want to do the schedule preview show, so we'll have to let that simmer and decide if we're going to take the over or the under on 9.5. I got a lot to think about this week, besides my job and everything else going on. I got to think: is the Vols going to win over 9.5 games or under this year? I'm going to be like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's got the board up with all the.
By the way, just to correct one thing you said, we will be at least 14-point favorites against UTSA. At least, personal opinion.
Okay, I was just going off what I'd heard through the grapevine that it might be. I haven't looked ahead. I don't know what it's even set, if it's even set right now.
With it being at home, I'd be shocked if it was under 10.
Well, we'll definitely look more into the schedule. Hopefully next week we'll work on that this week. I'll send out a message to the group to start planning our wins loss segments, because we can record next week, but the next Sunday I'm going to be traveling, and then the next Sunday is the day after the Virginia game. So we only got, let's see, 2 Saturdays left, and then we play the next Saturday. So it's almost here. I mean, it's literally like you and I talked about it last week, Harv. It's here. We're just a couple weeks away now at this point.
It'll be here before we know it.
No doubt. I mean, it's time to start getting your minds right. I used to. I remember when I was like in college, how you would go to a big game and Tennessee fans expected to win, and you walked into the stadium. Over the last 10 years, how many times have me and Big Montana walked in there just like, well, I wonder what we're going to lose by today. And I almost feel like that's kind of going away, which it should. We should never think like that at Tennessee. You should never think like that. But it's been hard not to with all the losing we've done the last 15 years. But I mean, back in, I'm trying to think, 2017, I didn't go into any of those games thinking we were going to win. You go all the way back, 2015, 2016, we were pretty good. But then going back before that, 2013, 2014, I didn't go into games expecting to win them against Alabama or Georgia or Florida or whoever it might be. But now you got, like, I'm sitting here looking at the games. I expect to beat South Carolina. I expect to beat Kentucky. I expect to beat, obviously Vandy. Who doesn't expect to beat them? But things like that. I mean, you go into those games, but now you go into the Alabamas, the Georgias, and the Floridas, and you expect to at least compete and have a chance, an opportunity to win. I'm not saying you should go in like, oh, by God, we're winning this game. And we might think that, just depending on the matchup. But you at least go in, looking at it from the outside now, you look at it and say, I think the Vols, they can go in there and compete with these guys and find a way to win if things fall the right way. I think at least.
The difference is 5 years ago against Alabama, if Tennessee had recovered 2 fumbles on defense and had 2 interceptions, we're still going to lose by 21. Now, if we have 2 recovered fumbles and 2 interceptions, we're going to win by 21. I honestly believe that. That's how much different this Tennessee team is now.
This is where the program's at this year. And I know what was going through my mind last year when this happened. Remember the scoop and score from Bama in the fourth quarter? And they went up a touchdown. And even when we missed the extra point, I'm sitting there in the back of my mind, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. But I don't know that the team thought, I know they didn't, because obviously they didn't, but there was probably quite a few in that stadium that day that weren't thinking like I am. And it's probably because I'm shell-shocked and seen all this crap so many times before. But that scoop and score right there, I'm like, if we don't go down here and score right now, this game's over with. That was what I was sitting there thinking. I don't know that I said that to you, but I was sure thinking it.
Even the nuts on Josh Heupel for the Alabama game when we got the ball back with 17 seconds or 11 seconds or whatever it was for the 2 passes and the field goal. I mean, it's how many coaches would have took a knee right there and went to overtime.
Derek Dooley would have.
Took a knee. Let's play it out, see what happens. I mean,
I saw Derek Dooley do that crap against Missouri, and he went to overtime.
Yeah.
He had one of the best offenses in the country, and he took a knee to go to overtime, and we lost. That was I was already out on Dooley, obviously, by that point, but that's when I absolutely lost it. And there was I remember the whole stadium losing their crap when Dooley took a knee to go to overtime. I think they went 2 overtimes that game and we still lost. But yeah. Josh Heupel did what most coaches don't do. Hendon Hook. I think the story I've heard is he looked at Hooker and said, "Do you want to go out and try to win this thing, or you want to play for overtime?" And he's like, "Let's go win it."
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
That's what you got to have to get to that next level.
Right. The one thing that I'm not worried about it, but I'm curious to see how it plays out. Obviously, Joe Milton was electric in that Clemson game. Of course, he beat the dog piss out of Vanderbilt. But in that Clemson game too, I remember we texting each other at halftime, "Hey boys, this isn't our guy," and then he turned it up. Yeah, it was me.
It was me.
And then he turned it up, and he was putting passes on a dime. I honestly think with a full year of Joe Milton knowing he's the guy, and having all the practice, and Heupel just being a quarterback guru, I honestly think that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the nation. At least I'm hoping. And well, in saying that, if you're a top 5 quarterback in the nation, you're probably a top 5 quarterback in the SEC,
Yeah.
which is good for us. But I mean, a lot of it has to do with our quarterback play. A lot of it has to do with our offensive line holding up, defense stepping up and making, in those games against Georgia and Alabama and your Floridas and your Texas A&M and the LSU's, man, 2 defensive plays in the game can change it. And that's what we got to have. We got to have a couple of dogs that's going to get out there and force a fumble, or bend but don't break, and keep us in these games to where our high-powered offense can go out and double dip and get that 14-point lead, whenever the other team couldn't score. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm with you guys though. I honestly think 8-4 would be disappointment. I think a 9-3 would be par, and I think 10-2, 11-1, 12-0 is going to be exceeding expectations, especially with losing Hendon Hooker, who was a Heisman candidate level quarterback, and just all around good dude. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see.
I think you'll see Joe Milton take a little bit of a. I think he'll be a different quarterback from what we saw him in 2021 when he left that Pittsburgh game. Will he be as good as Hendon Hooker? Probably not. Maybe he will be. I don't know. He's got all the tools, a rocket arm. He's very athletic, strong guy, can run. But it's the accuracy, decision-making are the 2 big things. And Harb and I talked about it last week, that offensive line, can they perform at the level they did last year? And Cooper Mays has been, just a practice update, Cooper Mays has been injured this week, and he's out for about 4 weeks, they said, after having a minor procedure. Nothing serious, they said, and they've moved Gerald Mincy, I think, or they're at least exploring moving in from left tackle to right tackle. But I've not seen any, from the reports that people have seen at practice, I've not seen any bad comments about the offensive line play. I did see something this morning it talked about at practice. The quarterbacks were working on their deep ball accuracy, deep ball passing. So it tells me at the scrimmage I had on, I think it was Friday, they scrimmaged. Maybe the deep ball wasn't very accurate for this team, but okay, it was a scrimmage. I mean, it's hard to judge, but I mean, I think if Joe Milton comes out, doesn't turn the football over, and is efficient, and they can run the football like they should, I think this Tennessee offense will be fine. Harbin, you look like you're about to say something.
Yeah. Outside of Knoxville, I just think this is a very important year for our football program, because like nationally, like more so outside the SEC, but a little bit inside the SEC too. Like everybody's like, okay, Tennessee had a good year, but then they look at Hooker leaving, and they've seen Milton leave Michigan. They've seen Milton get benched. A lot of people are saying, if Milton plays good, Tennessee can have a good year. But a lot of them don't think that's going to happen. I think outside of Knoxville, I think a lot of people are expecting Joe Milton to fail, truthfully. So if the O-line can protect him and he can deliver, I think this will be huge nationally for people to kind of be like, oh shit, like Tennessee's back and they're here to stay. Because I think the way a lot of people are looking at it is, oh, they had a good year. They got some talent this year, but don't really know if it's going to hold up. So it'd be nice to kind of prove them wrong again. And if we deliver on a good year this year, hell, sky's the limit going forward for this program, because we'll have all the momentum in the world.
We need to prove all the haters and losers wrong, right, Harbin?
Absolutely. Was that not a great segue?
It was an excellent segue by Harbin there. I mean, it's like we can read each other's minds. Hater and loser of the week. Harbin won yet again last week. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm not going to hang a banner. There was only 6 votes.
That's true.
There's only 6 votes. I'm not hanging a banner.
So I will say this before we get into it. I need to look on. So we switched everything over to Spotify. I figured it out finally. More on here. I'd forgotten that I'd created an account a few months ago and had been messing around with it. Well, I went in and created a completely different account and was trying to upload the show to that, and it wouldn't link to anything. And when I called or messaged Spotify, they're like, "Oh, you're sending it to the wrong account." After like a day, probably like 24 hours worth of me trying to figure it out. So got it figured out. And on Spotify, if you're listening on the Spotify app, there is you can put like questions, Q&A on there that we can submit or put on there. And you can also put a poll up. And I put the hater and loser poll up last week, so I didn't look to see if anybody voted on it. I'm sure there wasn't, but yeah, Harbin did win it. And so we'll try to knock him off his throne this week, Big Montana.
Also, did you know on the Spotify app they have a video?
Yes, I'm still trying to figure that out.
I was going to say we can maybe get off of the Zoom thing and get on there if it would upload to YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out too. You can do YouTube Live. I'm just trying to figure out how to record it. So we're working on it.
I know Joe Rogan does his video and podcast all on the same thing.
Yeah. And we're not like Joe. He's exclusive to Spotify, but yes, he does. There is some features on there. I just haven't sat down and looked at them. It's, for those that don't know, we said it last week. We've been with Podbean since we launched this thing back in 2020, and there was a fee associated with it, and you got, unlimited uploads and all that. Well, I stumbled across, it used to be Anchor.fm, and they were purchased by Spotify and turned it into Spotify for podcasters or podcasting. And it's pretty much the same thing at no cost. I didn't listen to our whole show last week, so I don't know if they're throwing ads in there or not, but maybe one day we'll get to where we can put our own ads in there.
Here's my question to you boys. If and when the day comes where Spotify calls the YY8 offices and says, "Hey, here's our offer. Y'all going Spotify exclusive." We're definitely selling out and taking that damn deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Yes.
If you want to listen to the show at that point, you'll download the Spotify app.
Damn right.
5-year plan.
5-year plan. You'll download it. If you don't want to listen to it, then you're a hater and loser.
Hey boys, I'm just telling you, like Google and like Disney and like Apple, they were all started in back bedrooms and basements just like this. I mean, we're sitting here making fun of ourselves kind of, but you never know. Oh, Joe might be on our show one day.
True. There's a lot of Tennessee podcasts out there, and I don't know what their viewership is, but I was telling Harb last week, Big Montana, that our average views, if you average up all the shows starting from last fall after the LSU game, is like, what did I say, Harbin? What was it? 100.
It was like it was either 101 or like 111.
I think it's like 101 point something if you combine YouTube and the audio downloads. So not bad.
101,000 or 101?
Oh, 101 people. 101, not 101,000. No.
I meant like streams. How many streams do we have? Like all over
so total that I've been counting is like 5,000, but that's just going back to, or maybe it was, no, I'm sorry. It was like 3,000 and something. So that's going back to last fall though.
Like 7,000. I got it. Cool.
So I don't know what it goes back to 2020. I don't know.
Yeah.
We need a viral moment.
Oh, we'll get it.
Happen.
We know last year,
one of us needs to do something egregious at a football game that a lot of people see, and maybe we get multiple angles of a video.
Last year, our ratings skyrocketed. One, after Harbin come on, and then two, after that Alabama, Kentucky, that little time frame right there, it launched up pretty high. It came back up at the end of football, and then it kind of basketball, baseball was going on, and it steadied around between 50 and 75 a week. But hey, we're just here to have fun. We're all about the people. I was talking to some people Saturday night that have listened to the show and they enjoyed it, and told some people about the show that had never heard of it. So hopefully we might have some new listeners this week. I was at a birthday party for Matt Waters Saturday night. Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt.
So hater and losers of the week. The defending champion is Harbin, so we'll let him start it off. Who you got?
You know, this week's no different. There's a wide variety to choose from, and you just kind of got to go with your gut and pick the best one.
There's always a bunch out there.
I'm gonna go with the country music industry, pop country,
Woo.
pop country / country radio. That's what
Okay.
I'm going with. I could ramble for 15 minutes about shit that we already know. I could say nobody gives a shit about Kane Brown and whatnot. But as many of you may know, there was a cat from Virginia that blew up on the internet, Oliver Anthony. And he's just a good old Appalachian boy that sings good old honest country music. Ain't nothing crazy. He's got a guitar. He's got his damn dog sitting behind him.
And a Bible.
And a Bible. He's got a ugly ass red beard. Screams at Appalachia. And overnight, he has the #1 song on iTunes. And he has 3 of the top 10. Will it ever get played on WIVK? No. Will it ever get played on damn Sirius XM Country or whatever the hell it's called? No, it won't. But this past week just goes to show how starving this region of the country, and the whole country for that matter, is starving for good old fashioned country music. So piss on pop country. I don't care if you agree with the song that he put out or not, but piss on Jason Aldean. He sucks. Piss on Kane Brown. He sucks.
Yes.
No comment on Morgan Wallen. Everybody just wants to talk about that he cut his damn hair off. He got the Zach Bowling haircut.
Wait, what?
He shaved his head.
For real? When did this happen? I hadn't seen this.
You're part of the problem.
What? How am I part of the problem?
What, did he get crabs at a sorority party? What happened?
I don't know.
I gotta look this up. Unbelievable.
He rolled out to one of his concerts looking like Fred Durst.
My God, he has.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen shocks.
So yeah.
Word again, shocking.
Oliver Anthony to the moon. Appalachia remains the best region of the United States. And the hater and loser of the week is the mainstream country music industry. It's not country music.
What do you think? Because I talked about this last week. What do you think about Luke Combs? He's not pop, obviously. I just like the way he presents himself and how he puts on a show. He didn't get up there and dance around and sashay and
they're completely different, but he reminds me a lot of Chris Stapleton. Like they're gonna get played on every single mainstream outlet, but they're good, if that makes sense. Like they're like, and their voice is pure enough to where they'll never go pop. Like hell, you could play a damn Lana Del Rey or whatever beat behind Luke Combs, and it's still gonna sound country. Like I like Luke Combs. Is he my favorite? No, but I like him.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that gets played all the time that I can handle.
I'm telling y'all, his concert, his concert was great.
I saw him 4 or 5 years ago. And it was really good.
He's honestly got like 30 #1s that's like been put out in the past 3 years. The one thing that like, so I'm very old school country. I do tolerate some of the new stuff, but I do like Wallen. I do like Hardy. I do like Luke Combs. I like Eric Church. I like the guys that, they are part of the industry, but they really set the tone and do whatever they want. I mean, they do whatever they want because they're bigger than their record labels. I like, one reason why I like Hardy and Wallen is because of Ernest. I think Ernest is an amazing songwriter, and he's not to the level yet of those two guys, but he's probably the best songwriter in Nashville right now. And
Knoxville too.
And I'll be honest with you, man, like I don't want to I think some of Jelly Roll's stuff that's come out in the past couple of years. I know like they're more like power ballads or whatever, but man, he's just got a great story from rough upbringings or whatever. I think he's a really cool, genuine guy, and I think and his story is he never sold his catalog to get a start. He did it all himself, and like he just kind of blew up in the past couple of years. But what's funny is this is going to take a huge turn, and it might really put a damper on mine and Harbor's relationship. But my hater and loser of the week is a musician. It's a musician that I love. It's a musician that
I thought
Harbor
you said a
loves.
magician.
Musician.
I know where this is going. Spit it up.
I got about three. I've had to load up in like three like Copenhagen pinches here. I can't stand catering to a small sect of people. I think that when the majority of people are good, then that means that everything's good. I don't care about people's feelings that much. My biggest hater and loser of the week or the past couple of weeks is going to be Tyler Childers. This guy just come out with this amazing album with basically Southern gospel and just love and Jesus. And then the man comes out with his new song that is about two Kentucky football fans that are, coal miners. And I can't stand by that. Two Kentucky fans. It's just he's my hater and loser of the week. I mean, why?
I did mention this to Harbin.
Just to clarify, he wrote the song about 8 or 9 years ago, and it's just a normal ass love song. The video
about two Kentucky fans.
The video is what you meant to say.
I'm gonna go back. I looked at the lyrics, listened to the song without seeing the video, and then I watched the video. If you just listen to the song, you wouldn't know. But if you watch the video, but there's a reason they made the video.
Yes, not saying that. Then Niece and I,
and that's what the song's about. If they made a video, then that's what the song's about. We didn't argue about it.
We had like a 5-minute conversation about it.
Yeah, and then I forgot about it till right now.
I mean,
I don't love the video.
Who makes a song about two Kentucky fans though? Like, this is awful.
I guess somebody from Kentucky.
He should know better.
Well,
Lord of mercy.
I don't know.
Obviously, I'm leaving out a part of the story on purpose because I'm making a joke about two Kentucky fans.
Of course.
Thank you. So everybody understands that. I understand we're not really Kentucky fans. They could be, though. They could be.
Well, they could be. You never know.
Yes.
Going back to your point, though, just one thing. Like you was talking about Wallen and Church and Hardy and all them. They kind of do whatever they want. Whether you agree with it or not, you kind of got to respect Childers for it. He knew that 95% of his fan base was going to hate it.
Yeah.
He did it anyway. And that's kind of like...
I actually said that. I did.
Same thing with Aldine.
Listen, I love Tyler Childers. Listen, I love Elton John. And Elton John's like out there performing, you know what I mean? I love all kinds of music, and I'm not going to sit here and not listen to a guy because he started drinking whiskey, then started drinking a couple of Bud Lights and made a song. We've all been there, right? You're only as gay as your opportunities. You know what I mean? So listen, carry on. Love Tyler Childers, but he is a loser this week.
I've always said with this new country music, like with take for instance, your Jelly Roll, your Morgan Wallen, if you can get over the fact that it's not really country music, then it's fine. But if you I used to do this all the time. Like, this ain't country music.
Right.
No, it's not. They label it as country music, but that's not country music to me. Country music to me is Alan Jackson, George Strait, George Jones, Waylon Jennings.
Well, here's the deal.
Those guys.
Country music from the 70s ain't Hank Williams. Country music from the 80s ain't from the 70s. The 90s ain't from the the 80s.
Yeah.
2000s ain't from the 90s. Like, it's just gradually turning into something, whatever. And thank God for people like Jamie Johnson and Chris Stapleton and Vince Gill and and even Eric Church. I mean,
Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson, who's not going to get any recognition for anything. But where was I going with this? But like, here's the short story is that rock and roll no longer exists. I mean, there's very few rock and roll shows anymore. You're not going to have any more Leonard Skinners or Pink Floyds or, all that stuff is gone. The new rock concert is the new country music. It's the fanfare. It's the pyro. It's it's a rock concert. But they're singing about, the part that really hurts me about the new country music is everything's about whiskey around a bonfire, an old guitar. It's, a little bit weathered from the rain, a truck tailgate, Yeti cooler. Like, it's all the same crap. And like, they've done this thing where like they'll put like 10 of the top 10 songs and play them all at the same time, and they're almost all the same. So I guess I'm kind of for the songwriters of new country music more so than the guys who get the songs written for them. That's who I like.
So Childers said it best. He did an interview a couple weeks ago, and he said back in the day, or he said now country music that gets played on the radio, you hear about a guy riding down the road in his truck, or he's got his dog with him in the truck. So back when Merle Haggard was doing it, yes, there was a truck in the song, but he told you what all was going on and how he felt, and he tied the truck into the song. Like, the truck didn't mean nothing; it just tied it into it.
Right.
Now it's just a damn truck and a cooler full of beer. There's no connect with what you're actually trying to say.
They just talk about things that we do or have is basically all they do.
Right. Yeah.
Cooler full of beer, Ford truck, sky full of stars. I mean, they just throw words out there and put them in there. There's nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean,
sky full of stars. It's sky full of stars. It's not keeper of the stars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like Riley Green, but he's one of the worst ones at that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like, his lyrics don't really have any substance to it, but I kind of like listening to him.
I don't know.
Don't get Reagan and Melody started on Riley Green. Lord, they're obsessed with him.
My grandpa's never died is a hitter, I think.
That is a good one.
They saw Melody. Melody saw him come on stage over there at Charlotte, and she about passed out. She's like, "That's Riley Green. Oh my God!" Went to the Riley Green concert, didn't even know who he was. That should be the hater and loser of the week, but it's not. That's not mine. We have no sports hater and losers of the week because mine's not a sports related. Mine is the president, Joe Biden. I'm swinging for the fences here, Harbin. I'm trying to get a win.
Shocker.
So today I was reading this morning. Well, it was this afternoon, I guess. He's back at the beach again. He goes about every weekend. The world's on fire. There's supposedly a war going on over in Ukraine. Hawaii's burned to the ground over in Maui, and he was at the beach again today after being there for the last week and a half or something like that. And some reporters asked him if he had any comments on the rising death toll in Hawaii, and he said, quote, "No comment," before heading home. Just came back from a 14-day beach vacation, spent 4 more days in DC. Now he's back on the beach and has no comment. This is from a guy I follow, Stephen L. Miller. Has no comment for wildfires that wiped out entire communities. What a loser that. I think it goes without saying. Joe Biden is a total loser, but God, I can't believe people voted 81 million votes. 81 million.
That, I mean, I'm not going to get political, but that seems low even for him.
Yeah. And I looked it up to make sure.
0 comment on one of your states.
I looked up to make sure, but that was reported by I think it was a Bloomberg reporter. So you know that it's true. If they're, well, he shouldn't say you know that it's true. If somebody from Bloomberg or one of those left-leaning wacko news stations were reporting it, but usually if they say something that Biden said, that's what he said. So he probably didn't say anything about one of his states burned down pretty much to the ground with the biggest wildfires the United States have had in over 100 years, and he has no comment. I just go back to I gotta go home. I'm tired. He was riding his bike around all day. Imagine this, and I'll leave it at this for the people to vote. Imagine had the wildfires occurred in Hawaii with Donald J. Trump as president, and he was out at Trump National playing golf this afternoon. How big of a hissy fit and how much hysteria would there be on the left and from the news media that he was out playing golf while Hawaii burned? It's kind of the same thing with Ted Cruz when they didn't have any power down in Texas because of the, I guess the ice had knocked all the power out, and he flew off to Cancun for the weekend. It's the same thing, but you don't see it reported equally. And that's the sad thing about politics and even the media these days. It's just nothing is ever reported equally anymore. And it's this side does this, it's bad. This side does the same thing. Oh, that's not bad. It's not what he meant. No, that's not true. Come on, guys. That's not what he meant. The economy's fine. Gas prices have plummeted under Biden. Don't worry about it that they skyrocketed when he took office, but they've come down. I filled up the other day for $3.20. What was it when President Trump was in office? Like $1.80? Give me a break.
Speaking of dishonest media, yesterday, when I woke up yesterday morning, Saturday, for those listening, I checked the weather. Weather was fine. It was just supposed to be cloudy in the afternoon.
Same.
Listener of the show, Logan Sherrod, and I decided we was going to get a little afternoon round in at Ruggles Ferry Golf Club. Not fully endorsing them, by the way, but they have gotten a lot better.
Yes, I will be there next weekend.
So we had a tee time
for a tournament.
I will be there as well. I'm playing in the same one.
Yeah.
About 3:00, I'm driving to the golf course. I get caught in Katrina.
I got caught in it too.
So I text Logan and I'm like, buddy, it's monsoon. And he was already at the course. He's like, oh, it's clear over here. I was like, okay. We pull in, skies are looking awful. Long story short, we get one hole in and it comes pretty much the same storm that it came 2 weeks ago. Not actually, I'm exaggerating, but yeah. Dishonest meteorologists. Sad.
Yeah, I got caught in it Saturday and last Monday. I got caught it wasn't officially a tornado at Caswell Park, but I was sitting there in the parking lot. My truck was shaking back and forth, but I think the tornado rolled through Lakeshore Park and just devastated. I mean, there's trees down everywhere. It was pretty crazy seeing that when I got back on Tuesday, but yeah, crazy weather. It's really throwing a wrench in all of our mowing things our mowing patterns we need to get done right now. But well, remember to vote on this week's Hater and Loser of the Week. It'll be posted on the Spotify app when this show's uploaded, and it'll also be posted on Twitter. So make sure to vote when it's posted. That's this week's show. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Day Vol. Maybe we'll even get Gavin on here to do the preseason predictions. And we'll see where the show leads us from there. But that's this week's show. Appreciate Harb and Big Montana coming back. It's almost time, boys.
Oh,
as you both
spit
out your dip out at the same time. That was symmetry.
Real quick, gotta give a shout out. Good buddy of mine from college, Tom Forrester, the Englishman, pro golfer.
Yes.
Now the course record holder at Tennessee National.
Oh wow, what'd he shoot?
61
nice.
At Tennessee National. He did that earlier this week. Had a couple of chocolate milks to celebrate, I'm sure. So shout out Mr. Forrester, the new record holder at Tennessee National.
Congratulations, Tom.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, we're running out of our 40-minute allotted time period here on Zoom. So we'll wrap this baby up. Remember, you can find us I don't want to say everywhere you get podcasts because I'm still trying to figure out if it's distributed everywhere. But looking at our statistics over the last year or so, people usually just listen to us on either iTunes or Spotify or their web browser or YouTube. So I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're listening on one of those. But continue to listen there. We'll post it ASAP as possible. But appreciate everybody listening. We're 3 weeks away. Get your minds right. And we'll be back next week for the season preview of the 2023 football season. And this has been the Section YY8 podcast.